What up, Primals? This is Smank. I know you're wondering, why isn't Arthur Morgan here? And why am I looking at this fucking stupid goober instead? That's because I am Smank, and I am going to talk about a movie I saw last night with my dad. Saw 10, or Saw X, whatever you want to call it. Like, literally every other fucking sequel before, like, Saw 3D had Roman numerals. So, like, nobody calls it, like, Saw IV. It's just Saw 4, you know? Like, that's just dumb. People who call it Saw IV are just committing a crime by saying the fucking numerals instead of the number. And I mentioned Saw 3D. I'm gonna mention it probably at least 5 times in this video. It's an absolute piece of shit movie that I love making fun of. So just, yeah, expect that. Expect me to go off topic a little bit. I'm gonna try my best not to. So yeah, Saw 10. I watched it with my dad last night in the theaters, and I expected it to be absolutely fucking awful. I thought that it was gonna be fucking abysmal and that it would suck fuck. I thought that this movie was going to be Saw 3D level bad, where watching it would feel like, you know, picking up dog shit, where it's hard to look at and it smells bad and you can like feel the filth on your hands, so you have to wash your hands afterwards. I thought it would be absolutely god awful, but I was surprised. Like, I was in the theater waiting for that Nicole Kidman ad, that awesome, beautiful ad that shows up every time I watch a new movie. And I was waiting for it, and the screen was black, and I looked at the reviews on my phone because I was just curious. And this bad boy had like a fucking certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, which really surprised me. Yet again, these are the same guys who gave Big Mouth and fucking Cuties certified fresh. So still, I was like expecting kind of a bit of a stinker, but I walked out of the theater very pleasantly surprised. This movie was actually pretty fucking good. It centered more around John Kramer as a character rather than the traps, which there were traps in the movie, but the entire plot wasn't like centered around it like all the other sequels, where, oh, I have to get out of Jigsaw's maze! Oh no, trap here, trap there! Oh, my arm's cut off! Ah! But like, you know, this movie actually had a decent plot that they weren't recycling over and over again, which was great. It centered around John Kramer, like I said more. He was the quote-unquote protagonist of the movie, I'd say. There are no, like, good guys in it. They're all, like, morally reprehensible people. Like, there's not, like these people have done bad shit. That also applies to John Kramer, because he's created these traps that have fucking killed people. This movie takes place between Saw 1 and 2, before Saw 3, like a lot of the other ones. And basically, it's about him and his cancer, and how he has a couple months left to live. And there's this opportunity of like this surgery he can get down in Mexico from this German doctor's daughter, who's also apparently a doctor, which he goes down to Mexico to get this surgery because they're using a drug which is not approved by the FDA, which is very interesting. He meets up with Dr. Cecilia Peterson, the woman who's going to give him the surgery, the miracle cure for cancer, and they meet down in Mexico, and her associates give him this brain surgery where there's this monitor that shows the process, and it's like gooey and gross, and so they make him look away from it. Or rather, they tilt the screen away from him because they can't move his head, or else that'll interrupt the process, which they mention. And basically, after that, he has this bandage around his head for a couple days, and after that, he finds the place that they conducted the surgery, which is this basement area, which is weird, and everything's trashed. And he sees the video of the brain surgery, where it's revealed that it's actually pre-recorded footage from a different surgery. And he takes off the bandage, and there's no scar, no stitches. He was scammed. These doctors, fucking con artists.
I bought those NFTs fair and square. No, let me tell you something. I don't like you. I think you're an asshole.
So the traps that he sets up don't really show up until halfway through the movie, I'd say, through like the later part of the second act, and the entire third act is centered around the traps, which a Saw movie isn't a Saw movie without these crazy elaborate machines that just fucking cause as much pain as possible. Just crazy BDSM shit. The traps are absolutely fucking wild, but I'm only going to mention one because I don't want to spoil too much of the movie. So basically, there's this one where this woman stares like into this radioactive beam thing, and it's like melting her face slowly, and she has to break her hand and her ankle in order to escape, and she ends up escaping, right? But fucking what's her name again? Cecilia. Cecilia is trapped, right? And her love interest slash partner in crime arrives, and he saves her from the traps. And nobody else. Everybody else is dead. So except for John and Amanda. John and Amanda are obviously still alive. They're the ones orchestrating it. So the tables have turned. This guy arrives. He's working with Cecilia. He's got a gun, and he forces John to step in his own trap. And this woman on the ground who survived the radiation trap, Cecilia kills her, and that just shows that she's just fucking crazy. She's just evil, right? And John Kramer was like, no, she deserved to live. And there's like a lot of morality stuff in the movie where, like, if you've seen the Saw films, you know that John Kramer, like, his ideology is flawed, but he has morals, right? He's a crazy, deranged son of a bitch, but he has morals. This lady, fucking Cecilia, she's just a sociopath. So yeah, that's that. So Cecilia lures this kid in from outside and also ties him down to the fucking trap that John Kramer's tied down to. So that's fucking wild. And John Kramer's talking about how the kid's innocent and how Cecilia should let him go. And it's a crazy fucking trap. They're raised up, they're tied down, and this weird table underneath them raises up, and blood starts pouring on their faces. And they have to twist this lever to see, like, in order to have blood stop pouring on one person's face, and then start pouring on another person's face. And they do this, they exchange in order to prevent themselves from drowning. And meanwhile, Cecilia and her con artist butt buddy go into the room where the bag of money is, apparently. And they get it, which actually starts a timer. It triggers a timer, and the room locks them in. They are locked in the room now. And fucking John Kramer and Amanda and the kid are eventually freed. And Cecilia kills her partner because she's selfish and fucking evil as shit. So she actually ends up surviving. She doesn't escape, but she survives. John Kramer, Amanda, and the kid escape and live happily ever after. A wholesome little ending for a not so wholesome movie. So yeah, fucking, it's all about, I'd say, the same metaphor that a lot of the other Saw movies have. It's about karma. It's about how if you do bad shit, then bad shit's gonna happen to you. So I'm going to give Saw X an 8 out of 10. It's very good, especially for a Saw movie. I thought it would absolutely fucking suck, but it's pretty decent. So yeah, I recommend you watch it. That's about it, slimes.